Welcome back to the Haunted Files. If you're new here, you've found us at the right time. And if you've been here before, you already know what this is. No jump scares, no manufactured dread. Just real stories, told the way they were lived slowly, honestly, and without a clean ending. Settle in. We received this next story from Brazil. The woman who sent it to us is 22 years old now. She was 11 when it happened. She told us it has been over a decade, and she can still close her eyes and see it standing in her doorway, gripping the frame with hands that had no business being hands, scanning her room like it was taking inventory. She also told us something that most witnesses don't get to say. She has proof. Not footage. Not a recording. 3 people, 3 locations, 1 entity, 1 moment. This is her story.
My name is not important. What matters is this. I am Brazilian, I was 11 years old, and I come from a family that does not use the word paranormal, as skeptics do, as a dismissal, a polite way of saying you imagined it. In my father's family, the word is closer to Tuesday. Every generation, going back to the very beginning of Kardecist spiritism taking root in Brazil, has produced mediums. My grandmother was the most powerful of them. She could feel things before they happened. She could feel people before they walked into a room. My brother and I inherited it. I had been seeing things since I was small. Shadows at the edge of rooms, presences that didn't announce themselves, the particular feeling of being watched by something that didn't need eyes. I was curious about it more than afraid. I watched every ghost video I could find. I asked my grandmother for her stories the way other kids asked for bedtime fairy tales. I was not afraid of the dark. That changed in April of 2017. The months leading up to that night were the worst of my young life. My mother, our anchor, our provider, had lost her job in the economic crisis that was tearing through Brazil that year. She found another one, but it required her to move to the north of the country. We live in the southeast. In Brazil, that is not a short distance. That is another world. So she left. And my father, my teenage brother, and I stayed behind in our apartment on the 18th floor, a large, beautiful, deeply strange apartment that I had always found unsettling, even on good nights. The height alone made things odd. Doors shutting with no one near them, sounds that didn't have origins, the feeling that you were slightly outside of ordinary physical logic up there, suspended above the city with nothing around you but air. I was diagnosed with depression at 11 years old. Let that sit for a moment. And then, as though the emotional landscape of our home wasn't already fractured enough, my mother, we didn't know it then, but she has bipolar disorder, channeled her own pain and frustration into remodeling the entire apartment. Which meant that every day, 20 strangers walked in and out of our home. If you believe in energy, and in my family, energy is not a metaphor, it is a system, a physics, then you understand what this means. 20 people, day after day, carrying 20 different inner lives into your space. Anxiety, arguments, grief, aggression, whatever each of them carried that day, walking through your front door and leaving traces. The apartment felt wrong by the time April arrived. I couldn't have articulated it then. I can now. April 18th was my grandmother's birthday. The plan was simple. Finish school, come home, complete a group project due at midnight, then go to my grandmother's to celebrate. Straightforward, manageable. The project partner hadn't done their share. Wasn't responding. The file I eventually built corrupted and deleted itself at 6 p.m., the exact moment I was supposed to leave. I cried. My father told me to focus, that he would go to my grandmother's without me and I should finish and come when I could. The apartment emptied. My brother was somewhere in his room. The construction workers were gone for the day. I sat alone at my desk and rebuilt the project from scratch. The fog outside was heavy that night, the kind of fog that makes São Paulo feel abandoned, that swallows the city lights and turns the windows into mirrors. Night came earlier than it should have. The 2 churches in the convent I could see from my bedroom window disappeared into the gray. I have always found those buildings unsettling, even in daylight, the convent especially, with its dark stone and narrow windows. That night, they were simply gone, absorbed into something I couldn't see. I finished the project, sent it in. It was 10 p.m. I was alone in an apartment that felt too dark even with all the lights on. I left my bedroom door open, left the corridor lights burning, left the bathroom light on. I lay down. I started to drift. And then I was completely, suddenly, inexplicably awake. Not startled awake, not woken by a sound, just awake, as though something had reached into sleep and pulled me back out by the collar. My eyes went immediately to the door. The corridor beyond it was lit. Everything was as I'd left it. And then, at the door frame, right there, at the threshold, the exact boundary between my room and everything outside it, something began to emerge. A shadow, human in shape, but not human. Entirely black, not just dark, a black that seemed to have depth to it, edges to it, like it was made of concentrated absence, rather than simply the lack of light. No features, no face, except for the eyes. White, glowing, 2 pale lights, in something that had no other visible form. It gripped the doorframe with what I understood to be hands, and it looked into my room, not at me, not yet, at the room, scanning it. The way you scan a room when you've entered somewhere unfamiliar and are assessing what's there. I blinked. It didn't leave. I thought, sleep paralysis. I had seen a video about it once. People couldn't move, they said. So I moved, shifted my feet, my hands, just slightly, just enough to confirm that I was fully conscious, fully present, fully in my body. The movement caught its attention. The shadow turned its head, and I use that word loosely because I cannot tell you how I knew it was a head, only that I did, and looked directly at me. Locked its white eyes onto mine, and then it left. As slowly and deliberately as it had arrived, it retreated from the door frame and was gone. The whole encounter lasted less than a minute. The room seemed brighter the moment it left. Not lighter, the lights hadn't changed. Brighter, as though something that had been absorbing the light was no longer there to absorb it. I didn't move for several minutes. I was crying without sound, afraid that noise would bring it back. Then I screamed my brother's name, as loud as I could, over and over. He came immediately. I asked to go to his room, and he let me, and he held me, and I told him everything. He told me he had felt it too. Not seen it, felt it. A wrongness, a heaviness. In the last few minutes, something had settled over him that he couldn't name. That was my first confirmation. My father was already on his way home by then. When he arrived and I told him everything, I watched his face do something I hadn't expected. He wasn't skeptical. He wasn't surprised in the way of someone hearing something unbelievable. He was disturbed in the way of someone for whom the story had already begun. So I asked him. He told me. He had been at my grandmother's, and everything was normal until 10 p.m. At 10 p.m., my grandmother stopped mid-conversation, looked at my father, and said she was worried about me. She said he needed to go home. He felt the same heaviness my brother had felt, that settling of something wrong, and he left. He got into his car, and as he pulled away, the creature appeared beside the vehicle, the same description. Human shape, black, white eyes. It moved around his car and looked directly at him. Then it was gone. His phone rang. It was my brother and me. A 40-minute drive. He made it in 25. I did not sleep in my room for several days. I am 22 years old now. I've had other experiences since. You don't come from a family like mine and live a quiet spiritual life. But nothing has matched that night for the combination of terror and validation it gave me. Because here is what I want you to understand. If you take nothing else from this, 3 people in 3 different locations experienced the same entity at the same moment. My grandmother felt its approach and named it without seeing it. My father saw it outside. I saw it at my bedroom door. My brother felt the change in the atmosphere of the apartment at the exact same time. We did not compare notes before arriving at these details. We did not know what the others had experienced until after. The accounts aligned on their own. I am not asking you to believe in the Kardecist understanding of spirits, or in mediumship, or in any particular framework for what moved through our lives that night. You can explain it however your own beliefs permit. But I will tell you what my grandmother said the next morning when my father called to tell her everything. She listened. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "It wasn't looking for you. It was just passing through. But it saw that you could see it." And then she said, "Now it knows." I didn't ask what it knows. Some things you understand better by not asking.